The following is a special presentation of Big Polly's World of Sports Sims, alternating the reality of sports and entertainment since 2020. And welcome to today's installment of the Professional Wrestling Tour using Wrestling's Finest version 3.5. Big Polly coming to you. And we have a doozy of a match for you. It's going to be Dick Hutton defending the title in St. Paul, Minnesota, as I remember Johnny Cash singing in Big River, uh, against Mad Dog Vachon, who is the number one contender. Although we are early in the infancy of the Professional Wrestling Tour, it's been around since the first of the year. Vachon was the number one contender. So he gets the shot. It'll be a one fall, 60-minute time limit bout. Hutton will have. Well, let me just set the time limit first. There we go. And there you see it there. Hutton and Vachon will look at the hold trading. Vachon was also another amateur great. Was a amateur wrestler. A lot of the guys from the 50s and 60s were amateur wrestlers, as I'm reading in the Jack Briscoe book. Uh, let's first show you the champion roll call here. It has not changed since you were with us last. Tully Blanchard successfully defended his title against Antonio Inoki in Detroit, although Inoki won by DQ. Pat Patterson and Ray Stevens defended their belts in Indianapolis, defeating the Bruiser and the Crusher on a clean win. So we are about set for our PWT main event, and it will come your way right after this. If you like the video you're watching, feel free to use the Amazon link provided. I'll put it in the description down below. Back with you. This PWT main event about to get started, but let's recap what happened first in the undercard, on the undercard, I should say. Vern Gagne and Jesse Ventura went to a 30-minute draw. Martin Cardagian of Argentina and the debuting Chief Little Wolf battled in the second bout of the card. Cardagian won by countout. Vern stayed and did commentary, and he got into a screaming match with Chief Little Wolf, who initiated it. And that was enough time for Cardagian to get back in the ring and for Little Wolf to lose via countout. So look for Gagne, Vern, and Little Wolf going at it on the March card, probably. The High Flyers over Ox Baker and Superstar Graham, and that ended the same way. It was Al Casey, Sheik Adnan Al Casey, who Ox and Superstar hired for the bout. Graham, Superstar Graham, were jawing at Vern, and before you know it, the bell rang, and guess who lost the pony? Chris Taylor and Moose Cholak did battle. It was Kurt Hennig interfering at 18:31, so Taylor picks up another win. Jim Lundos, a surprisingly easy win over Nick Bockwinkel, 7 minutes even. And Lundos was playing possum outside the ring, hit Bockwinkel with a barrage of punches, and we had another unclean finish. In fact, we have not had a pinfall so far on the card, but that will probably change with Hutton and Vachon about to go at it. This is one fall, 60-minute time limit. Vachon's got to win by a pin or a submission before any other result takes place in that time frame. He won last month over the Crusher. And of course, Hutton has been busy since champ, 5-1-1. His only loss was by DQ to John Pezic. And Pezic and Hutton are scheduled to meet in 3 days in Vancouver. This is one of the old circuits of territories of wrestling back in the 70s and 80s, which is what PWT is more or less patterned after. And let's go. Auto control lost by Hutton, and Vachon loses control. Hutton loses control. Vachon loses control again. Inside cradle, no pin at the 117 mark. So that was an interesting sequence. And a legal throw by Hutton himself, an all-time great amateur wrestler before turning pro. As I was saying in the open, a lot of the guys who were amateur wrestlers turned pro, and Vachon is one of those. He, as I was saying, he represented Canada in the British Empire Games, won one of the weight classes in, I think it was 1950. Submission move, legal chop by Hutton, no pin. I got started on Raw last night, but I couldn't finish it. Some of the skits they do are just too illogical. Leg drop by Hutton, like Riddle hosting a toga party when he should be getting ready for the card in Saudi Arabia, the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, right. That's why I like AEW because their angles are at least have the sniff of realism to them. Legal forearm by Vachon. Referee breaking an illegal turnbuckle move. Vachon delivers several forearms to Dick Hutton while he's tied up in the ropes. I always think of the Hawaii Five-0 trilogy, which Harold Gould was a part of. V for Vachon, which I think was like in the early 70s. I have Hawaii Five-0 on Paramount Plus. Whip to the ropes, the original Hawaii Five-0 with Jack Lord and James MacArthur playing Dano. Whip to the ropes by Hutton. Legal punches by Hutton. Love watching the original Hawaii Five-0 because Lord was like so cool. He had a coolness about him. Indian Deathlock by Hutton, but that cannot score a submission. So we go on. Rolling reverse. Now that could get it done. No. So Vachon trailing by 55 points at the almost 10-minute mark. A headlock. Hutton slowing it down. A whip to the ropes. Flying drop kick that scores. Kick by Vachon. Of course, the old school guys had to be great amateur wrestlers because you never knew if there was going to be a double cross in one of these NWA territories. And Vachon was AWA champion 5 different times. Neck hold by Vachon. Face break by Vachon. Arm hold by Vachon. Illegal punches. And illegal turnbuckle move here by Hutton. Actually, Vachon, who got distracted arguing with the referee. And Mad Dog with a punch. Minimal chance of a pin there. So we go on at 12:26. Disqualified check. Biting by Vachon. And Vachon was known for that. He would turn that forehead into a snack. Forehead of his opponents. Throat chop by Vachon. A leg drop by Vachon. Bear hug, but that will not get a submission, so we ignore it and play on. Brass knuckles used by Mad Dog. He is going all out to try to win the PWT World Title tonight. And why wouldn't he? Vachon is bleeding after a chair shot to the face. He didn't like being bit upon. So Hutton becomes chairman of the board there with a chair shot, 25 off of Vachon in stamina. And he is now cut, and that's the first cut of the bout. It's a 25-point cut. Not likely to cause a stoppage, and in wrestling's finest, because it's kind of based on the 80s, fights can be stopped on blood. In which case, by the way, if Hutton were to lose on cuts, he does not lose the championship. Pinfall and submission only cause the titles to change hands, and we only have 3 of them. And that was a kick to the knee by Vachon, and he is staying within the within striking distance of Hutton. He's only down about 54 points, but he is cut, which will reduce his effectiveness as the match goes on. Arm hold by Hutton, kick by Hutton. Hey, if you want good analysis, go watch Jim Ross on AEW or Tony Schiavone. Legal forearm. I'm just relaying what the game gives me. Legal forearm by Hutton and an arm hold. Whip to the ropes. Hutton putting a series of moves together, but now Vachon reacting to the fans, and not in a good way. He loses 5 stamina. The margin between them now, 85 points, and Vachon is cut. Whip to the ropes. Speed move by Hutton with a drop kick out of nowhere. No action. Illegal punches by Vachon. Ropes move by Mad Dog Vachon. Pile driver countered by Hutton. And Hutton goes back to an arm hold here. We'll slow the match down. We're 22:38 into the bout, and Vachon has lost another stamina level, according to the commentary. Illegal punch is countered back to Hutton. Specialty move, Oklahoma hayride. That usually does it, but no! Hutton is livid when the attempt is stopped as he does not comprehend that Mad Dog Vachon was able to get a foot on the bottom ropes, ending the attempt. That should have been it for Hutton, who has a big match with John Pezic in Vancouver. If you're just tuning into this point in the video, I mentioned it earlier. Kicks and arm holds used by Hutton at the 25-minute mark. Illegal punches. More arm holds, and now he's opened up a 109-point lead, if my math is correct. Cobra clutch on the opponent, and that's not going to get a submission. Arm hold by Hutton. Hutton just taking his time. Illegal punches. And a suplex attempt. Back suplex. That's 10 points. Flying knee drop by Vachon. He's pulling on the ropes for leverage. No pin. Kicked out at 1 did Hutton. Flying clothesline. No pin. We've had 5 pin attempts by Hutton and 4 by Vachon, as this match is reaching the halfway point of its 60-minute allotment. Illegal punches by Vachon, choking by Vachon, and now calls being made. 30 minutes to go. And just like that, Vachon climbs on the top rope and comes crashing down on Hutton. Due to jumping from the top rope, Vachon is disqualified. So Vachon is defeated, but he did take a little starch out of Dick Hutton. Time of the fall was 30:26. And Vachon was down 141 points, 25 on cuts when the fall occurred. A 3.5 star rating the match got. Hutton's damage was 145 and Vachon 286, 25 cuts. So, with that, Hutton's going to head to Vancouver with another showdown with John Pezic, who himself was a former PWT World Champion. He's going to try to get his title back. And we'll have that bout for you hopefully Friday, Lord willing, and if the creek doesn't rise. Until then, this is Big Paulie coming to you, wishing you well. Godspeed, God bless. We'll do it all again soon. Bye-bye for now, everybody.